Hello everyone, welcome to Fearfully Greedy. In today's video I will bring you a new idea summary about Playmates Toys, which is a new addition to the portfolio. I will try to make it quick. I am in a bit of a cold, so my voice is a bit cracked. So let's get into it. First, remember, I own this stock, so I will be biased for sure. And these are all my videos are not to be considered financial advice. Please consider getting a professional or do your own research. Also, I will probably update you in the channel when I sell or buy new stuff, but I'm not in any obligation to do so, just so you know. Then, quick update of the portfolio. Since the last video, it has fallen slightly. Okay, today we had a bit of a pop with Carvana, but as of today, we see like this: Carvana #1 position, followed by Warrior Metcall, Naked Ones, Playmates Toys, Pax, Nagacorp, Baba, and then Ride International and Cash, more or less. Almost 30% gain from initial cash. Remember, there's a link in the description, which is more thoroughly updated, like more when I buy something, I try to put in the next days. But just so you know, it's there and you can see all the positions, all the sales, all the history on it. Then the trade since the last video, I sold half the position of Warrior Metcall at $63.7. That's a 330% gain on those initial 150 shares. I bought Playmates Toys, 80,000 shares at 0.7 Hong Kong dollars, and I doubled the position in Nagacorp. Let's check that on the Giro. So you can see here in the Giro, same positions as always. And then the transactions, aggregate. First, I sold Warrior Metcall, which gained me 8,000, almost 8,700 euros, which I spent 6,563 on Playmates Toys and 1,364 on Nagacorp, and the rest I left in cash. Okay, so the idea for today's video comes from a friend of mine who recommended me a video from Momentum Investing, which is a Spanish channel, like value investing channel, although the name is Momentum, so it's a bit counterintuitive, but yeah, it's people doing good research in Spanish. I will link the video in the description. The guy who makes the thesis, it's named AGL, one of the contributors from the channel. And you can see there it's in Spanish, but the presentation is in English, and it goes much more in depth than I will go. Okay. Then what is Playmates Toys? It's a stock, it's a company. It's a company listed and headquartered in Hong Kong. It's incorporated in the Virgin British Islands. It's a spin-off of Playmates Holdings. Okay, so far I haven't said much, but what they do is they create, design, market, and distribute branded products worldwide, but mostly promotional toys. So they do promotional toys. And if we can see here, Playmate Holdings still owns 50.8% of the shares outstanding. Although, what is this company? So why is it is interesting? They own the master license for these toys, for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Not all toys about this they own, but the ones that were mass sold in the 80s and 90s, they own that size and that distribution through the main merchants. It's not exactly clear what the master license does, because there are a few other things that has come since then. I read on a few forums which give you that idea that if you change a few things, you can do that on scales, then on different like distribution lines and markets, you can do so. But the mass sold toy for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, they own the master license for that. But if you see, this is not from them. This is an air radio control car. Then there's this like Lego, no, not Lego. Well, mini mints. Okay, we don't have that much that in Spain, but they could also do some of some license deal with Nickelodeon, who now owns the IP, so the content for it. And then there are like some collection for adults, and that they also don't do. They mainly do the small toys. Okay, this is what they do, and this is like the big part of the market, the biggest part of the market, because it's what they are affordable toys, they are well-made toys, but there's some nostalgia into it, some collection is around it. And well, just to also summarize, it's not just a company in Hong Kong that sells worldwide. It's a company that is mostly based in the United States. Most of the senior main and executives are in the US, and then they manufacture those toys in China. Okay, but they still have some workforce there in Hong Kong, but they don't do any. They don't make the toys, so the third party. Okay. Then there will be, you will see that there's a net cash position. That money is mainly in Western banks in US dollars. Okay, sell share, they sell mostly to US, 60% in US. That's for the half year 2023. And then a bit on Europe, and the rest is pretty scattered around. Okay, I will paint a picture of what happens to this company. You will see it's quite cyclical. If we start to count here the operating income or operating profit and revenue, you see that for most years it has these huge swings, and this doesn't go by market sentiment or anything. It's mainly around the content for the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. This that I have here is the movies, and that's since 2006. We could go farther, but they were the main selling toy in the 90s. They were the main grossing movie, independent movie, like in the 90s. Also, they had higher highs at some point. But they have cycles, okay, and it's when movies come around and TV shows come around. This will be the box office for the movies. And then we have here the main TV shows. There are also comics, which is the origin from it, from 80 something. But yeah, these are the main TV shows and main TV shows and movies. Okay, and this kind of paints a picture. When there's content and this goes in swings, the IP owner tries to market it, and through that they sell more Playmates. And Playmates doesn't invest anything into these movies or anything, so it's like free marketing in some way. That's maybe the mold that we're getting. Here I just moved the graph, so we see 2011, and then we see a bit the future years, because I think we're starting a cycle. So that's my thesis, or the thesis from AGL, and well, I will talk for myself. He can talk for you, and you can see the video from him. But I think we'll have a cycle. I don't know if it will be in line with the other or not. I will try to make an educated guess. But what's happening now is in August 2023, there was an animated movie that grossed $180 million, and it was produced by the studio from Seth Rogen. Okay, and Seth Rogen also wrote some of it. And this might start a cycle, okay, but it's not only this. First, let's see what people say about the movie is that this movie is doing very good. It's by critics the best movie ever for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. TMNT, let's call it that. I'm losing my voice a bit. And then what we'll have is also a TV show in the middle and a sequel. So another movie produced by the same studio. Okay, and this will be, we don't know exactly how many years, but there will be at least 2 seasons of the TV show. It will be in Paramount Plus, so there will be a paywall behind it. It won't be like in the 90s. It won't be like the hugely popular shows, but this could theoretically get some profits coming the way of Playmate Toys. How big, how small, we don't know. There will also be a video game here in the middle, which might add some or not, depends on who it's focused on. If it's like more for kids, that will be good. If it's more for adults or teenage, not. Okay. So the other thing, as you know, I think this has a mode, and I don't care if we have huge swings, depends on what we're paying. So let's see what we're paying. The current market cap is around 800 million Hong Kong dollars. All numbers here in Hong Kong dollars, which are the changes like 0.13. So like 1,000 Hong Kong dollars is like 100 something US dollars. Okay. Then net cash. So they have a bit of debt, but they have like 120 million dollars, so $1 million, so almost 1,000 Hong Kong dollars in cash, net cash. Okay, so when you're buying this stock, if this was a normal world and this was like not owned by family and this was not in maybe in Hong Kong, you would buy this and probably take some of that cash to your pocket, right? Because they are not really reinvesting so much. Like they have no use for those $120 million. But for them, for the current team, is that this $120 million allows them to wait even 10 years or 20 years until there's another cycle. And that's what they do. It's a caution so they can keep the lights on and then wait to reinvest when there's another cycle. Or they can get other IP, like other licenses, which they try, but nothing on the level of teenage TMNT. Okay. Um, so what can we expect in the next year? We can take a couple routes. We can just make a educated guess, think that we'll do half of the last cycle or something, but let's try to base it in some numbers. Here we have the shipments from this company, so to the US, um, from the last years. Okay, and here we can see a bit of the previous cycle levels, and we can see these year ones. If we compare numbers more or less year by year, how much of revenue they did, and how much revenue we did in the first 6 months, and you try to guess some of these numbers. Revenue could be this year between 1 billion and 1.4 billion Hong Kong dollars based on these numbers. Operating income or operating profit is, to my guess, is between 200 and 350 million Hong Kong dollars. The range is because the first half of the year we had operating margin of 16%, and I think the last part of the year should be more like 20, but we don't know. So between 200 and 350 million dollars, million Hong Kong dollars based on these numbers. We could also, I did some numbers, and what I did is I took the usual first half of the year versus the second half of the year. These numbers go pretty wide, but like in the last 10 years, they have moved from like 0.63 to last year to 0.55. So they swing around a bit, depends on what we have. But I did the average, and if we take the first half of the year, which we know, and we add the average, which is like 63%, and operating income would be, well, revenues would be between 0.9 and 1 billion. Operating income would be between 150 and 200 million Hong Kong dollars. And then we can do also some market research. So check the Amazon numbers, maybe try to get some market analysis or something. And this is my guess, okay? It's as good as anyone's guess based on these numbers. But I think the revenue will be between 1.2 and 1.4 billion Hong Kong dollars. Operating income will be between 220 and 280 million Hong Kong dollars. My guess, okay? The thesis also goes that in the next 3 years, we'll have similar amounts, which go higher or lower, but it will be like a cycle, a new cycle. So my guess is that in 3 years, operating income or EBIT or operating profit, whatever you want to call it, before tax, the moment they have a tax credit, which will probably run out very, very soon, um, will be equal to the current market cap. So in the next 3 years, not 1 year, the 3 years together will be similar to the current market cap. That will make that if the stock doesn't move, they will have net cash, but 2 times the market cap or 2.5 times the market cap, which I think at that point they should distribute. So this makes for a very asymmetric kind of bet. Another point I wanted to make is that Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, I made a mistake here, um, seems to be evergreen. Like the Turtles have been going on for 40 years. And a movie this year without much press previously, like it's not like we started with last year a TV show and then another and then this and this that and a lot of advertisement. There was some, but not that much. Still grossed $180 million, just the limited film, without any of the adjacent kind of revenue streams. So 40 years later, it's still a hit. Any kid knows about it probably. Any young adult will know about it probably, and adults also. So I think owning the master license, which the master license is not blinded, it's not like unbreakable, but it's very unlikely. Like they had it for 40 years, it's unlikely that they lose that master license in some way. I will also link another video in the channel, which was posted yesterday, which I think it shows a bit all the history of the turtles, and also is painting kind of in the end the picture for this new cycle. And I think if not, I wouldn't have both. So I think it makes sense. And next year is the 40 years of the turtles, so there will be a line also celebrating that, which also adds to the cycle. There's a bit of noise if we can check also some of that, some of the momentum that we're having. It looks good. It looks good. We'll see. We'll see if how wrong I am. Then, just to make a point, they also do other toys. They get some license every year for some toys. The second biggest thing they are doing at the moment is this Miraculous Ladybug, which is for young kids. TV show. It's on over 120 countries. Millions of kids watch it worldwide. It gets a lot of views on YouTube. So I did Google Trends kind of I don't know, lazy search, Ninja Turtles and Miracles Ladybug. We can see that for some portions, it's bigger than Ninja Turtles. Sales won't be as big, but I don't know. Ninja Turtles is its own thing, but it shows that they can also get licenses for other things. They seem to be more proactive in the last 2 3 years, but they have been proactive all their life. They started doing dolls, these people, and they got to this. So they find their way most of the time. Okay, but yeah, this could make them profitable every year. When we saw a lot of non-profit years, the theory is that with the new additions, even for down years for the turtles, they will still be profitable and not burn cash during those years, which is a positive thing. So I'm good them reinvesting into these other toys. Timelines, what to expect for the next days is that we will have pretty much 100% sure, but nothing is 100% sure. A positive profit alert sometime in February, probably around third, fourth week of February. So judging by previous times they did that. And the full year 2023 report will be around the first, second week of March. Okay, the numbers should be good. The stock should pop. Will it? I don't know. Also, once this is more adequately valued, it's not a stock I want to own for a decade. For me, I like something more easier to value. Here I know that it's cheap, but I don't know how cheap or how expensive it's. It could be worth 2.5 Hong Kong dollars or 4.5 Hong Kong dollars. I have little idea at the moment. Okay, well, I will try to educate me more while owning, but I only know it's cheap in my eyes. Okay, well, that's it, everyone. Take care, be safe, bye bye.